King David, although a man after God's own heart, was no stranger to shame. He had gone from a fearless warrior to fleeing outcast. But during this time, he wrote, "I sought the Lord and he answered me. He delivered me from all my fears. Those who look to him are radiant. Their faces are never covered with shame." David knew that he could declare war on his shame by worshiping the God that knew what to do with it. He realized the power of worship and how it caused him to focus on God and see his true greatness. One good look, and David's perceived shame was ruled insignificant. To worship in the face of darkness, to raise your voice and make a noise of honor unto your God in the midst of pain, strife, or death. Our God is strong and just. It takes some strength to worship our God in our darkest moments, but we worship, for he is worthy of our praise.
Stone 2 is worship.
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 I was honestly scared of that word. For me, I do not have a good singing voice. My family isn't very musically gifted, so worship to me made me feel real nervous. It makes me just well up with anxiety, to be honest with you.
Growing up in the American church specifically, it's very performance-based, and so my worship was always about myself. What can I do to make myself acquire attention and people's thanks and people's great, even if it was for what they were saying was the kingdom of God, and I was really good at that. I got really good at it by the end of high school.
It's the most difficult of the stones for me. I can't sing a lick, and I think most people only equate worship with singing, which I've learned is not accurate.
It's all consuming, right? It's not something that you turn on and turn off.
After reading Cave Time and understanding, being with people and worshiping and understanding what true worship meant, it's just provided that vulnerability before the Lord, and in that, he speaks to me.
I've never looked at worship the same. I think worship is more honesty and vulnerability now than it is what I do with my hands.
When I do my cave time, I can sing and nobody's around. From somebody who can't sing and was always embarrassed to sing, and so who didn't sing, of all of the stones, worship is by far one of my favorite.
We're not called, all of us aren't called to be actual worship leaders, but we are all called to worship the Lord.
Worship for me is vulnerability.
When we worship, we win.
I am always in worship.